Like happy birthday, Scooby Doo. Man, guys, Scooby Doo is 50 years old. That is just insane. Hopefully I get this video out in time, but right now, as of the time of this recording, it is Friday the 13th, September 2019. Exactly 50 years since the day that the first episode of Scooby Doo Where Are You first aired, and wow, what a ride. Oh, and I also got these. Like Zoink Scoob! We're like socks, man! Whoa, Raggy! Like, you gotta know when to hold 'em and when to fold 'em. Like, get it, Scoob? Fold 'em? I don't get it. Yeah, some really cool Shaggy and Scooby-Doo socks a friend of mine gave to me. But hi everyone, welcome back to another Scooby-Doo review. It's been a while. It's been a while. I've kind of fallen behind with Hurricane Dorian rolling through and just having a bit of a creative rut. I just haven't been that motivated. But I will eventually get around to finishing up those Scooby-Doo and Guess Who episodes and get those out to you. But today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. Scooby Doo Return to Zombie Island. I've got some thoughts on about this movie. That's one way to put it. What did you think of this movie, Sonic? Yeah, all right. Okay, Sonic. No, it's not about you. Yeah. But where to begin? Well, first off, spoiler warning. I'm going to go right into full-on spoilers for both this movie and Scooby-Doo Curse of the 13th Ghost. For those of you that don't know, because this movie kind of picks up after the events of that. Because in the last movie, it was a follow-up to the original series, The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Because they only caught about 11 or 12 of the ghosts in that movie. Or in that series, I should say. And they finally resolved it with a tie-in movie. And there was a lot of controversy with that. Especially near the end, where Velma kind of tries to write off the whole entire series as not really happening, writing it off as like some sort of hallucinations, which doesn't make sense at all, considering that only the first episode took place in a low oxygen environment, and even then you regularly saw supernatural elements in that show, which got a lot of people upset, but that's not what's important to Return to Zombie Island. It was the beginning of the movie where the gang is kind of forced into early retirement from mystery solving because they had some trouble with one of their mysteries, caught the wrong guy, and the sheriff holds them accountable, saying that if they keep this up, they could be held responsible for criminal negligence or whatever. Basically, that once they turn 18, they can get in big trouble for being meddling. So they kind of hang up the magnifying glasses and start selling off their stuff. And Fred sold off the mystery machine, which is kind of a big part of Fred's character in like the last decade or two. Is him just having like this borderline freaky obsession with the van, ever since probably like What's New Scooby-Doo onwards, he's like in a relationship with that thing. It's like his girlfriend, and we get that at the beginning of this movie. Like it begins with like this weird whole sequence. I'm just like, what is going on here? And it turns out, because it's all about like Fred catching like the gang solving mysteries with the mystery machine, like pulling off the masks and stuff. I'm just like, okay, something bad's gonna happen to the mystery machine. Then it turns out Fred was just daydreaming the whole thing, because he just misses the mystery machine because it's still sold off from the last movie, which I was surprised. I didn't, because Scooby Doo is kind of plays it loose with continuity, which made this whole movie like really really weird. Because you know we've had tons of different incarnations of Scooby Doo throughout the years, and each one is kind of like its own little separate version. With only like the vaguest of callbacks. Usually, it's mostly just to "Where are you?" But here, I mean, it picks up directly after the last movie, which pretty interesting. Uh, but the gangs still aren't solving any mysteries, and they're at a malt shop, and meanwhile, Shaggy and Scooby are very pleased with the fact that they're not solving any mysteries anymore. And the sheriff comes in and says, "Come on, you kids just need to learn how to be kids. Just that you stop looking for trouble. Stop it. Stop getting yourselves into danger. I mean, you just go out there and be normal kids." And this is all kind of weird. Yeah, but Shaggy and Scooby make the gang promise not to solve any more mysteries, to stop questioning stuff, and dragging them along with it, because if you've watched a lot of Scooby Doo, the rest of the gang are kind of jerks to Shaggy and Scooby, always making them the live bait and everything for the monsters and stuff. So they're pulling that card up again. And Fred's just like, "Oh, I guess we have used it as live bait a few times." Like, a few times daily, man! But they make them swear, and they try to keep to their word as much as it is kind of painful all throughout the movie. The gang just absolutely, like, they want to look into every little thing, but they promise Shag and Scoob, so they're sticking their heads in the sand, and it can be borderline a little cringy, but it's nice to see that the gang is true to their word and not trying to go and solve mysteries behind Shaggy and Scooby's backs. They're being blissfully ignorant, but at least they're keeping true to their word. Because then we get a Luigi's Mansion scenario where Elvira, which is like a whole funny thing. Like, she's like this horror movie hostess, like kind of like kind of like Mystery Science Theater 3000, except without the riffing. She kind of like hosts that for B horror movies. She's like a real, it's like a real thing. But the funny thing about it was, like, they had the actress who played her play like a knockoff version of Elvira in the Lego Scooby Doo movie, and now she's playing the real deal here. But like I said, Luigi's Mansion scenario, Scooby and Shaggy win a contest that they didn't even really enter, winning a free vacation to a tropical paradise, which the gang sees as a perfect opportunity to try and just get their minds off of mystery solving and just try and relax and have fun for a change, because they can't go to an amusement park, they can't go anywhere without finding a mystery. So, tropical paradise. And away they go. Then they end up on Moonscar Island. They end up on the ferry boat and everything, and and the gang is gone. The rest of the gang, except for Shaggy and Scooby, they're just like, this seems oddly familiar, kind of like that the Zombie Island mystery. And then Shaggy and Scooby are like, "You're not trying to solve a mystery, are you?" No. We're just no. But if I were a mystery solver, I would definitely be more interested in this. Ugh. But yeah. One of the problems I have with this is this movie is just filled with, like, nods to the original movie, but it's not the original movie. It's not Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, which to this day is probably still one of the best Scooby-Doo films of all time, because it was dark, it had a lot of good moments. It twisted the whole thing on its head by portraying the gang as a little older, going up against real monsters, and just kind of deconstructing the standard Scooby-Doo hoax, because the rest of the gang all in that movie all thought that the whole thing was one of their regular mysteries, and then the sheer horror that unplays when it turns out that it's very real. Here, they're like, yeah, you remember that? That happened. Moving on. Because, oh, I'm telling you right now, this is, overall, this movie's okay, but it does not live up to the standard of Scooby Doo on Zombie Island. It is almost nothing like that. It is very much the traditional Scooby Doo hoax. You get the guys in the costumes in this one. But hold on, and there's a little bit more to it though. Anyway, they go to the island, go on the vacation resort. Things seem a little sketchy. The gang is trying their best to ignore it. Fred's like still like has his head in the clouds about the mystery machine, still missing it. And Velma and Daphne are just having a hard time because mystery solving is like the one thing that brings Fred, Velma, and Daphne together. It's like the thing that unites them. And without being able to solve mysteries, they don't have much in common or any real interests. Which I kind of like that they're trying to play with the characters a bit, because Shaggy and Scooby they're the same lovable characters that they've always been, whether they're solving mysteries or not. And the gang is just trying to make them happy, but they're bored out of their skulls. Because at one point, the gang's trying to make small talk while Shaggy and Scooby are sleeping in the back. Then Scooby wakes up, they're like, "Hey, Scooby! How are you?" Desperate for some kind of social interaction to break up the awkward silence. Oh, and then we meet some other characters that look suspiciously like the characters from the original movie, and they have names that sound like them. And I'm just like, I was wondering what was going on here, because obviously it's meant to be referencing something, but I couldn't quite place my finger on what it was. Then some Scooby Doo and shenanigans ensue. The rest of the gang are just trying to get their minds off of the mystery, because they're obviously on Zombie Island, but it's called Moon Star Island instead of Moon Scar Island. And Shag and Scoop are just living it up. But then the zombies come in. We get a bit of fun there with Scoob and Shag running from them. And they're trying to convince the rest of the gang that there are zombies, but they're like doing their best to stick their heads into the ground and ignore this, because they promised Shaggy and Scooby that they wouldn't solve a mystery, so therefore zombies can't be real. And then this just keeps going and going for a while, and it just gets like, ugh. I just wanted it to be over with, and finally Scooby and Shaggy just relieve them of the promise, and oh, thank goodness. Then the gang gets right to work, traps the zombies. Turns out the whole thing was like a movie. And it was like some guy brought the director of this film brought the gang in because he read about the Zombie Island case on Velma's blog under Unsolved Capers, and wanted to make a movie based off of it because zombies. And then he brought in the gang and had a whole bunch of cameras around, and that's why there were all those good-looking versions of characters from the original movie, because they're supposed to be them in the film, because it's based on a true story. And if they had led with this instead of trying to do the whole we promise not to solve any mysteries thing, then this might have worked better if they didn't try to hide the fact that the gang was being brought in to film a movie based on the original adventure. Then that could have been interesting, because we get some stuff, because the gang says, we'll still do the movie. I mean, they're bad actors. Shenanigans ensue. But then the cat creatures reappear. And we get a bit more of that. And Velma is just like going nuts now that because she withheld from solving a mystery for so long that now she's looking for mysteries in everything and is desperate to solve like the Zombie Island mystery because continuing her character development from 13th Ghost, she all those old cases from back in like the 80s where they had real supernatural elements in her mind, she writes them off as just unsolved cases, and she's looking to solve them. Like, because, I mean, in the original Zombie Island, the cat creatures, they died. Because they couldn't, drain the life force in time. They're gone. Velma's still looking to solve what actually happened there, even though there's nothing really to solve there. Because it's over. It's solved. And I like that they at least tried to make it a little less obnoxious than in 13th Ghost, because there they made it seem more like Velma was actually right about the whole of that series just being not actually real, and that really pissed a lot of people off. But here they make it. They show that the rest of the gang doesn't quite believe Velma, who wants to think that there was like a logical explanation behind all this and that it was fake. They don't believe that. They just let her believe that because she needs that order. She needs it to make sense. And we kind of also saw this in Scooby Doo and Guess Who, where the funky phantom, she doesn't believe he's a real ghost. She thinks he's just some sort of optical illusion that they haven't figured out yet. They run into the cat creatures, and then there's like this whole big scene where these cats are attacking. I don't like cats. Logan will tell you, I don't like cats. And seeing the sheer horror of cats being played to the fullest here, with them attacking like the crew and the gang. Thank you for properly portraying my fear of cats. But there's a little bit more to these new cat creatures. Scoob and Shag lead the rest of the gang down to the old chamber where Simone and Lena we're going to sacrifice the gang, and there they set their trap for these new cat creatures. And then they catch them they by dressing up as zombie versions of themselves. It's kind of gross, but kind of neat at the same time. But then it turns out the cat creatures were fake. They were after Moonscar's treasure, which was like one of the theories Fred had in the original movie for the zombies, thinking that they were like somebody looking for Moonscar's treasure. And here, it turns out that these people actually were trying to look for that treasure. And Velma's just writing it all off by saying that these were the same people as the cat creatures from the last movie. Yeah, sure, Velma, sure. But there was one more cat creature. One more that they didn't catch, they didn't unmask, and who wasn't with the rest of them. And it's very heavily implied that that is a real cat creature, whether it's the cat god itself or just somehow related to it. At least they leave it open. I'm thankful for that. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, the chase music. It's that 70s pop stuff that regular old Scooby-Doo chase sequences. A little disappointing that they didn't go for like some sort of remix of Terror Time, because I love that song. And they didn't have that here. Didn't have it. Let's see what else. So yeah. There was a reference to Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. That's another one of the unsolved cases. So I hope we get like a follow-up on that, because that was actually one of the few Scooby-Doo movies that actually was open for a sequel. Because if you saw at the end of Reluctant Werewolf, Dracula and the Hunch Bunch followed Shaggy and Scooby home and being like, "We're back!" So, be fun to see a follow up to that. Although, don't try to debunk it. Don't retcon it, because they retconned Zombie Island here as well. With them being adults in the old movie, but here the same events happened, but the gang are still teenagers in high school. Ugh. Way I look at it is my headcanon for this. Uh, the 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 events of 13 Ghosts, of most versions of the Scooby Doo mysteries, have happened to this version of the gang, with a few of the details mixed around so that they're still young throughout all of it. The old movies and series happened exactly the way we remember. But they're their own separate thing, and this is a version of the gang where the events happened very closely, but some of the details were meshed around. That way we can have both. And from Scooby Doo team up with the last issue, it's canon that all those different versions of the gang are their own separate continuities in their own way. So that's neat. But I'd love to see a Reluctant Werewolf follow up. Make it like a fun, wacky races card chase thing. Kind of like what they did with the WWE Speed Demon movie. But bring back maybe bring back Googie. That we could finally see the return of Scrappy Doo, which would be interesting to see how they explain him if they even decide to bring him back. I wouldn't. I don't know what they would do with that. But Shaggy becoming a werewolf again, I mean, that'd make for a fun movie. But overall, Return to Zombie Island, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't hold a candle to the original movie that it wants you to think it is. It's trying to be like that. It's not. It's just doing its own little thing, a new mystery set in an old location, and that kind of builds off of it, but not really. It just goes in a whole different direction. And oh yeah, at the very end, Fred reconciles with the gang. They decide to start solving mysteries again. And the sheriff says, "Oh, okay." If they convince him to let them be who they are and go out and solve mysteries. And Fred resolves to find the mystery machine, which I hope it like plays into a Reluctant Werewolf follow up, like maybe they have to race again with Dracula and the rest of the monsters to try and win back the mystery machine or something. I mean, that'd be amazing. But that's about all I really have to say. But happy birthday, Scooby Doo! Here's to another 50 years, man. Get yourself a Scooby snack. Get yourself give yourself the whole box of Scooby snacks. You deserve it, man. And I guess that's it. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I love talking about Scooby-Doo. And let me know if there's any Scooby-Doo stuff that you want me to check out. I have seen the new Scoob leaks. Those are pretty interesting. No image for Daphne yet, but Fred looks a little wonky. Velma looks cute. Shaggy looks right on. I can't wait to see a full-on trailer for this. But other than that, I guess that's it. Until next time, Scooby Dooby Doo!